our clock. Anybody have any changes to the agenda? Now, I'm just gonna add a couple of things under new business. I don't think I have to detail them at this point. Right, Carol?
No.
No. Then let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
We love books.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's in our hearts, that's the main thing.
Privilege of the floor.
No.
Oh, I don't go
No.
yet.
Okay. Does anybody have any changes to the minutes of the last meeting?
Yes. Just under special report from Children's Services, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line from the top. It reads, all phases of the summer program reported record-breaking numbers, including the number of people were entered.
Number of people who were entered should be, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I have to as an English teacher. After the word,
Appreciate your-
after waiting lists, it's either gotta be a period and a capital letter or a semicolon probably works better. Okay, because
Got it.
if you have a new sentence there. I had a change in wording on committee reports too. Several changes there.
On which year?
On committee reports at the top of the second page.
Okay.
Let me read it the way I changed it and then see if that, I can show it to you. Physical Resources Committee reported that and I added portions of fence at the Solution Park had been taken down. It's not the whole fence that was taken down, just some portions that were taken down. Actually, they didn't even take down as many portions as we wanted because they took the ones to the left, we wanted the ones, some of them on the right also. So
Okay.
it's just portions that were
Portions
taken
of.
down and placed in storage for future repairs. Roofing repair bids have been considered and A&J Reliable has been determined as you've got low bidder with high confidence. So I think maybe the thing to do is the confidence reference should be with high confidence in the quality of their work. Somebody need to put in the quality of their work after.
I spent too
high
many years in
confidence.
construction. It was just
Yeah.
lingo. Sorry.
It's okay. And then in the next line, I think we actually accepted the bid. The board voted to accept the bid. The board accepted the bid of A&J, period. Motion by Brigham Brown, second by Jim Tarvin, 7-0. We didn't make a,
Yes. See, the guidelines were already determined at previous motions. So you're like motioning on top of your previous motion.
what do you mean by the guidelines?
There's guidelines set out for what can be spent and how Matt can hire a bidder.
Well, the guidelines indicate at what point we have to go to bid. Either above a certain level, as I understood it, above a certain level, we have to bid it. Below that level, we don't have to bid it. But if we have multiple bids below that level, we still have to decide which one to use. And if the board is choosing one, I think the board should, accept the bid. In other words, I don't think we're spending, $15,000 or something? I don't think Matt should just, do that. I think it's a big expenditure that should be like buying something. I don't know.
Yeah, the guidelines were set up for particular procedure over in certain price ranges, but yeah, we did vote to accept the
Mhm.
bid.
Yeah, we voted to accept the
Yeah,
bid.
I'm a
And-
little
and use
bit
them.
foggy on this, procedure that you're doing here, but,
Well, in other words,
would
we're
you like
talking
me
about two
to
different
just
things.
rewrite this?
The guidelines have to do with when we bid and when we don't bid. We don't have to bid under a certain level.
okay,
But that doesn't mean that if it's under that level, Matt can just, spend money. In most cases, especially on a significant expenditure, he's gonna come and say, we have one bid, we have one quote, we have, several quotes, whatever, and I'm recommending this one, but I think the board has to vote on expending that money.
Mhm.
To me, it just seems like it's a board responsibility.
But, so then what's different about the verbiage?
Right.
Verbiage.
Because the way it was worded is that basically it said, we support, we agree, we encourage Matt to go forward. That sounds like we're saying, gee, Matt, that looks like a good idea, you do it. Rather than
Anything
the
happens,
board,
you're-
we are voting to accept that bid.
Right.
Maybe she meant immediately. Encourage them to go forward as soon as possible.
With vigor.
With vigor.
So we demonstrated our agreement.
Are we done a contract with them yet? Have they given us the bid?
Yeah, it's done.
And then we agreed that
Last meeting, right?
agreed upon the bid. Now your step is you want to give full
well,
authority
you actually
for.
already did it.
Did it, we just tried
At
to.
that-
How
So
you
you-
like
Oh,
it
okay, so
My
we're,
understanding
oh,
is
okay,
at
alright,
that
how would
meeting,
you like it worded?
I didn't-
we voted to accept the bid.
Correct.
Or-
Yeah.
correct.
Jim, I
And
can,
Why don't we just put
And
that?
Say that.
That's what I
reject
And
want.
take
Vote to
out
accept the bid.
encourage Matt.
Yeah, the board
And encourage Matt to go
accepted
forward.
the bid of A&J on a vote of 7-0.
Right, that's all,
Yeah.
just take,
I can, if you're, unhappy with this, and still, then, I can submit it again next month. If you wanna
Well,
reject
I don't
it,
think
or
it-
would you wanna go ahead with the
Well, we're just
changes
changing that
there?
one.
there's changes, just
Just-
take out
Right,
that
right where it
verb.
says- the
As per
sentence-
changes by Jim?
Where it says the board demonstrated that whole sentence,
Mm-hmm.
just
Okay.
change it to the board accepted the bid of A&J,
That's
Mhm.
all.
vote 7-0. Well, you can give who moved it, who seconded it.
Okay, if you're good with that, I will just reword it to show. I think I have an understanding of what Jim's wanting it to say. Okay,
Yeah. Anything else? Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes of the August 12th meeting as amended?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Let's support them going forward.
give me
All
that,
opposed?
motion.
Sorry.
Ryan first, I second.
Ryan made the motion.
Thank you.
And now the treasurer's report. Jim.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate that. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Jack.
Jack.
Thanks, everyone.
Good.
We have the report here for the first 2 months of the year, the fiscal year, July through August, so a little better sample of how well we're doing so far. And also this month on page 3, I did the quarterly check listing or check run. But I think at the last meeting, we said it was about time for another, listing of the checks cut for the month of August, so that's in there as well. Through August, month 2, pretty much running on schedule on expenses. The library charges have been over budget the last couple of months, so they're picking up again. The salary line is pretty much right on the button. You see 104,566 compared to budget of 104,294, so a minuscule, $200 difference. So we're running on track there. The books, almost all of July has been entered. There's maybe a handful more of Baker and Taylor books. August is not fully entered. I'm gonna be working on August this week, so July numbers for books are almost on. So books looks like they're running on budget. And remember, for the books for this year we're in, we added more to that adult line. So that's probably why it's working out a little more online, whereas last year it was running a little bit over each month. Utilities have been pretty much on schedule, they haven't gone up as much, so I don't even think we added much to that line, so they're hanging in, staying in check. And you could see for the month of August, like the program line for Ken Community Development didn't have anything in it. He had his big expenditures in July, so that'll even out as the year goes forward. It was just, uploaded earlier in the year. Building, we paid the building, the umbrella package, insurance in August. And that was a little bit more than what we had budgeted there. But that's done. That one, we put in the whole number in the 1 month for the building umbrella policy. And the loan, the balance sheet we have right now, about $272,000 in cash between the checking and the money market account. And we should be getting the first big check, the 50% check, I believe at the end of September, early October. So it'll be the 50% minus the 10. So we should be well funded till next year. And as I said, the check run is behind that. There was about $44,000 worth of non-payroll checks paid during the month. You can see there was a Baker and Taylor one for $4,000, so that's how we got caught up in that. And then the last point is, on September 1st, we made the September loan payment. The balance is now down to $132,753,779, with I think about 17 more payments to go or so, 16 or 17. January of
16.
January of 2015. Yeah, 16 exactly. So 132 with 16 to go. And that's about it.
Anybody have
I
any
think that
questions?
should.
Two questions. Total assets, 278,000 as of August 31st. If we were to compare that with the total assets a year ago, August 31st of 2012, would that number be?
I would think it would be very similar because I think our cash flow is running in sync with where we were last year because we're more or less on budget, but I could get that.
I'd be curious,
Yep.
and even for the year 2011, I'd just like to see whether each year we're getting further into the hole. I'm thinking of that chart that you did about what's gonna happen to us over the next 3, 4, 5 years, where it looks pretty desperate. And maybe one way to get a sense of that is to look back at total assets each month as compared to 1 year ago and 2 years ago.
Sure, I could do that.
Just to see
Year over year, sure.
whether it's happening and how quickly it's happening.
Okay, that's a good idea.
And then the other question is, we were told that we had exceeded the 2% or the quote 2% rule. It's not strictly 2% because they counted the capital, the 25,000 as part of our. Correct. So that might mean, this is the question I think I asked last month, that our base now went up by 25,000. So that next budget cycle, we really have another 25,000 that's already built into our base.
Right.
Versus the 2%. So we need to get an answer as to whether that's true, because if that's the case, then we can take our operating budget, kick it up.
Right, that would be a
Plus
big help.
25,000, yeah.
Right, we could find that out. Is that built in for next year's?
Right.
Is it really not the 1,198,000, but the 1,223,000?
Is that our new base, and does the 2% come off of that new base?
Okay.
Do we have 60% approval of the?
We did anyway.
Yeah, we
I know, we had 60%, but we don't need that for.
Just the board, 60% of the board.
60% of the board, right?
Right.
No, okay.
Right. School districts, I don't.
School districts, right.
Okay, yeah, we could definitely get you answers on those two.
Okay, thank you.
Just a couple of questions on the checks.
Sure.
We have a safe deposit box?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Oh,
Those
never
neat
mind.
things.
Our jewelry.
I know, I was,
Civil War
and how
swords.
did you get one? Because I've been trying to get one. It was,
Really? Oh.
I was told that I had to wait 10 years.
Really?
Yes,
For what?
at that bank.
Which bank?
Chase.
That bank.
That bank.
That bank.
Chase on Main,
Yes.
Chase Bank.
There's a 10-year waiting list apparently.
is that the only,
We've had it for a
Safe
while.
deposit box in
I
town?
think going
Well,
back
you have to have an
pretty far.
account with, yeah.
I wouldn't want them.
With this bank, I would get it for free because my account is there. But I
We
have to
have a
be,
Free account at Berkshire.
can I have it?
Well, we don't, we just use it for the safety deposit box.
Right.
Right, one check a year.
That's what I have to do because there's a 10-year waiting list that,
So
so
we
I was
have
wondering, what did you say?
we have a safe deposit box.
A while back.
Right, it goes pretty far back.
Oh,
It's
okay.
probably
Okay.
We looked
Have you
at it.
looked at
I
it?
did, a couple of years ago, and I don't remember, I mean, it was sort of founding documents of the library.
Oh, historical?
Okay.
Or, we swap out every month, is it, David, every week, how do you do it? You swap out the, backup tape for the
Monthly.
Oh.
right.
Yeah.
that goes in there.
Of these meetings?
Well, these are all on
These
YouTube.
are
These are YouTube.
Safe forever.
We're already in
Oh my
perpetuity.
God. let's get $125 back. Storm at my house.
Maybe with we get a new building, those should come out for a one-time, like they do with the Constitution, every 200 years.
Do you
Hey,
remember,
look at
Jack, you
that.
looked in there with me, do you remember exactly what was in there? I think it was,
Some papers and then was there discs or something or
it
The
was a couple
backup
of years
stuff,
ago.
yeah.
But there was,
it's not a huge box.
no,
It's one of the smaller ones, so the swords
Okay.
might not fit in there.
well, that skull is in there.
Yeah.
Diamonds are.
Everyone
The what?
thinks it's, I'm just kidding. You know that skull of that
Oh,
man
yeah,
that was
no, I thought
supposed
it was
to
the
be
wall.
on the wall over here.
And also the American Mobile Glass.
Oh, that was
That'll be reimbursed by the company. That was one of the windows that broke during the
Yeah.
roofing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
we had to pay them like right away, deposit or something. I think,
Gotcha.
right away. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Did Norton Christensen not give us the 900 yet? Because I didn't see it listed as income anywhere.
I think they did.
They did. It might have been coded to the expense. I could look where exactly it was coded to, but it might have went in the expense line to reduce the expense. So it might be in and out. I'll double check on that.
Yeah, I was looking over in the income area. It wouldn't appear there.
No, I'm 99% sure we got the check. I just have to check
Okay.
where
Yeah,
we
we-
coded it to.
But we do use the safety deposit box for our backups.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I have to ask the question, what is the Midwest tape
That's-
line? Is that a different kind of tape?
Yeah,
or-
that's already.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, is that a monthly fee, just, to Orange and Rockland, is that a monthly fee?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how much we pay a month for gas, electric?
Yeah, that's been
Or do
pretty
we have P, or do we have NICEAG? And
We have both.
both.
yeah,
Right.
So that's just
that's
electric.
Just the electric.
Have we, looked into, those people that call you constantly?
Yeah, Bernie and I have.
Have you looked to see if they can cut our energy costs at all?
Well, I did it once a
Without
couple of years
joining,
back, and we
Pyramid?
got, that wasn't us. Good.
Yeah,
So,
the-
si-
the rates,
yeah, we did
Yeah,
that
no, I
time.
have to be careful with
the
you
that.
have
rates are,
to.
the rates are lower now, but it's still, I mean, we can make the argument either way. Now, the flat rates are coming in lower than they were, considerably lower than 3 years ago.
Okay.
They're still higher than the day-to-day rates, but it might be arguable to do that either way. In other words, let's say it's 7 cents per unit, and now it's 8, and they'll offer 8.5 cents per unit. It might be worthwhile because as a company, running as a company, it's better to forecast our things versus getting. We'd have to work up some numbers to see how much more we'd be paying based on one of these contracts, but at least we have a contract so that we would know. We always use 800 units this month, and we can always expect to pay this for the next three years, or whatever the case may be. So, we're going to look at that.
It's just
Coming
a
up,
large
yeah.
bill, yeah, that's.
They've come down. The contract rates have come down considerably. So
We do have a flat rate, is that what you're saying?
now we do month to month right now. I mean, but
And
it's
it varies.
It varies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it varies by the tenth of a penny or something.
I didn't know they offered flat rates.
Yeah, they do, and it's like oil and anything else, any commodity like that. Yeah, it's going to be a slightly higher than you're paying now.
Is it just 1 year, the flat rate?
Yeah, but you pay slightly higher than 2 years, or I forget which. Yeah, you can get 1 year or 3 year basically. Is what they generally do. But yeah, I've gotten a few at my house as well, and they're looking more appealing.
No, and there's,
Maybe
there's
I
quite a
should
few
save the
scams
time.
out there too.
Yeah, be careful.
Is there any other further questions for Jack? If
All
not,
set.
may I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? Motion made by Nancy, seconded by Ryan. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? So carried. Committee report, oh, Jack.
Oh, yeah, thank you, everybody,
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Jack.
And I'll get answers for those questions for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Yep, great, thanks, appreciate it. Bye now.
Committee reports, physical resources.
I'm not sure if everybody was here or not. The roof is repaired.
Yay.
And there's, Matt pointed out earlier, it's with slight damage here and there, which, it sounds like they will be and are covering the costs to the damage. There was one window that was broken. At cheaper than we expected, so that we have money left over to hit the other items that were on the list, the short lists. Remaining are the cupola, which is actually covered by donation, and which will actually be repaired within the next few weeks, it sounds like. And so now we can focus on really the next important thing is exterior paint and window caulking. So we discussed in the meeting, pre-meeting to this, that we're just gonna have Matt get some more quotes on that, basically, and see what it'll cost and what type of the main cost of that's gonna be remediation of the window caulking.
How do we know about this anyway? Have we gotten quotes before? I don't remember.
Yeah, this was a while back, and
Yeah.
in the midst of it, someone mentioned possibility of contaminants in the paint or in the
Is
caustic.
that a
So we had
sample to
right,
BOCES?
BOCES
Got
came,
confirmation?
And so then we stopped at that point because the contract with painters that had come said, well, that would probably double the number I gave you if that's the case, so we put that off and started getting some of the other things done. Which had also deteriorated in the time being, like, we were having more leaks in the ceiling. So we kinda pushed this down on the list. Now it's time probably since we've gotten most of the roof.
Remember the past quotes we've gotten, the amount?
I could probably pull it up, I think I saved them.
Do we know how much we have left over
Half of the,
of the 25?
roughly,
So a little over
Okay.
12,000?
something like that.
That's a
The
good
quote was
amount.
a few $100s higher than originally because they were just going to put gutter guards on the north side, but Danny asked that we have them on both sides. That was another $400, which, should work.
It pays for itself. Yeah.
But I think, I remember those paint quotes even without the remediation coming in, in the 20s sort of area, if memory serves.
Yeah. So maybe, and depending on who can provide the service, we might need to actually split off the window caulking onto a separate task, and
Alright,
separate
and-
service.
And probably the painter, whoever we get to look at it, would make or provide guidance on the caulking, whether it be done before or after painting, right?
Whether it needs to be done beforehand, yeah.
Yeah.
And those
Right.
original quotes, by the way, also contain some work that we've had done piecemeal over time. There was holes over here and some of the soffits over here. That's been taken care of, so that will offset some of the,
And did that was Martin?
yes,
Did Martin also paint over what he
that little
walled
section,
it up?
right,
Yeah, he walled, okay, so. That's at least preserved, it's not there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at the other day, it still looks like real, it's good.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Used to be a home for birds and bats.
Critters.
So the cupola is done and the roof is
Now, the
done.
cupolas
Will be done.
Will be done.
Yeah, this week, end of this week.
Okay.
That's what,
So then what we're doing is trying to figure out what to do next, which
right,
project.
because the
and-
cupola's paid,
Yeah.
sort of paid for from that donation
Right,
already, so we
right.
can-
So it sounds like maybe we should look at getting the windows and the painting.
Should we do that in the spring now? I mean, but for winter, I don't see any purpose of doing that now.
Well, it's not that cold yet, but they can still work.
Depends on how long it stays and when the next hurricane is.
Yeah, exactly. We might
There's
need that
one-
money. Let's get to October.
There's one a-coming.
Is there?
Mm-hmm.
They blossomed.
Let's see if
Mm.
she's
One is
back to
blossoming.
work.
Yeah.
Sherry sees a nor'easter.
What?
Okay, so we'll wait on the quotes
Yep.
and make a
Send
decision
you
from those.
Okay.
And I guess direction for them is to separate as much as possible, discrete steps that can be done, not relying upon the other, in
Okay.
case we are
Right, 'cause
short
we
on
can't afford
cash.
to do the whole thing at once.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing we would need to know is with the caulking, if there is any contaminants, will we need to close the building? Because they usually come in and
Mhm.
tent the place so as not to
Right.
release anything.
Mhm.
No, this is all exterior.
Right.
Right, okay. So that's probably not the case where they probably use some kind of vacuum or something.
Yeah.
Well, we have to be mindful of,
Oh, they
Our
they would be,
neighbors.
they would be
Yeah.
mindful.
yeah, so we have to find out if they need,
Yeah.
to do things that whether
There
or
could
not
also
the
be the
building,
other option. I'm sorry.
the building might have to be closed.
The other option of painting over lead. That's what they always tell you to do.
Mm.
So I mean, we might be just open to that. Let's just paint over it. If you give them two options. Because when you own your house, they say don't scrape.
The asbestos as well. I
Don't
mean,
don't
just
play with
wrap
it.
up,
Keep
that's what-
keep it wet or whatever moist, and move on. But I mean, if that is an
Mhm.
option, that's the two things we have to ask: do we have to remove it, or can we paint over it?
Yeah.
At this point, I think we just keep this building alive with a nice new roof.
But I think we're replacing the caulking because it's just falling apart now. It's cracked and
You really can't just
so
paint
there's
over
probably
it.
places that we can't do that.
Right.
Can't paint over.
We used to
What
have
if
that
we can?
invisible spray that they used to have that thing you can see on the inside. You spray it on, it goes on white and becomes
As seen
clear.
on TV, is that? the-
Yes,
Seen
yeah,
on
yeah.
TV.
It's not by that store.
Yeah.
I see if they still sell
When I
that.
put my
Yeah.
storm door down
Yeah,
the
yeah.
river.
Put it on the bottom of a boat, right? That's what they do in the
Oh, that's
commercial, or is it?
that's the different stuff. That's the newer stuff. The heavy duty stuff.
It's the gutter guard.
That might actually work well too.
What's
Seal right over your chest.
what can we do to keep the building going until,
That's our
You know.
motto.
keep it safely, operating safely? That's what we need to do until we have other quarters.
Okay. Anything further to discuss? Any other committee reports that need to be made? Okay, then director's report.
Well, hello everybody. I just realized I'm pretty verbose, not verbose. I write, you know it all before you get here, but I'll just touch on some high points. Most of this month was taken up with the newsletter and with the roof. It's surprising how much time to spend with that kind of thing, but just. The newsletter came out nice. I think we saved a little money this time. We changed the aspect ratio, which I don't quite understand what it means, but it makes it easier for the people for the machines that fold it and such. I don't think it's gonna look too different. It's maybe a quarter of an inch, but we were told that it would save us money and expedite the process of mailing the stuff out.
So it's gonna be smaller, is that what you're saying? The paper's gonna be smaller?
I think not the paper, but
The type?
the way it's laid out on the page, so it could be folded slightly differently. I don't think we'll even notice it by eye, but we'll see. I haven't seen it yet.
Take out a ruler and see.
Yeah. I don't think we lost a lot of ground. The best news, actually, aside from the roof, is that the Children's Department won another
Oh,
award
that's
here.
great.
So that's 2 for 2 so far.
So where is the competition? It's throughout the RCLS district?
Right. I don't know how many.
Which is-
Depends on how many people are nominated. I nominate them, so I nominate them. I don't know. You know, it's 40 libraries, and I'm sure
Wow.
there's a lot of nominations they're up against.
That's
They
a
do a
real
great job.
feather in the cap.
Yes, it is. It's sad to say the Gnome Game won't be able to be nominated because they've got to sit out a year, but they'll have to do something too.
Oh.
They already have an idea that sounds cool. So.
Is that something that can go in the indie as a So let the community know?
Yeah, I'll talk to Tom. I'm sure yeah, definitely. We'll wait till we get a picture of him on Friday.
Oh, great.
Send him the stuff. Oh yes, you heard about the updated policies. Some of you have them, some of you need to turn your books into Carol as you have the time, and we'll update your books. Oh, Paul Mays, I just spoke to him Friday, I guess it was, he was on vacation. He's excited about visiting us. I have an appointment telephone conversation, I will have a telephone conversation with him on the 16th of September. He just needs to see some of the specs on the building and just refresh his memory about, you know, where we're at, what our population served is, and kind of the nuts and bolts. And then he will be coming in October at 7 p.m. That was the second, it's a Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, and on that day, he'll actually speak with myself and some of the department heads and gather the information that, you know, from us, which I'll bring to you guys later. Yeah, well, it should be interesting. Should be, but I know he's working with Moffett Library too presently, who also had a devastating time with flooding.
With Washington?
Yep.
Yeah, they're working with actually two architects.
Yes.
They narrowed it down to two, and he's one of they're competing.
How do you know that? Interesting. Pending board, let's see what it is. Oh, well, it's time for class again. I guess it's up to you guys to decide. I mean, it was, as I say, it was well worth the money. It's $1,500 each class. Now I feel like the kid that says, "Well, Mom, Tommy's going," you know, and the kid mother feels like they have, but the whole thing is a set. You're supposed to go through the whole, you know, it's not the kind of thing you dip into and go out of. It's sort of meant to be done serially. So we do have the money. I don't know, think about it.
Well, what do we have to do? We have to
Well-
do something tonight. It's this month. Then,
Yeah.
right?
I mean-
Let's float on it.
Can we put that under new business and vote on that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the stump's been removed. I put a thank you in for Dan Barboni, who did the cleanup of the sycamores prior to the Great American Weekend. Friends continue to roll along full speed. Got a whole bunch of stuff coming up for fall. Jim Tarvin got Jimmy Sturr to come and talk about his new autobiography.
Wow.
It'll be fun. Chuck LaRock will be back to talk about Gettysburg. He came, I don't know, a couple of you were there. I think that was great. Tom
Yeah,
Chancellor,
yeah.
right? And Eleanor's been pushed back to the, well, by the time she has her next discussion, she'll probably have a third book out, but pushed to the spring. Antique Appraisal, I think this is the third one coming up, also on October 6th. And I think it gained in popularity. The first year, it was
Right.
fairly well attended, but I think you got, the second year got some more press probably, and more people showed up. And friends continue to help us out in other ways. They've given us, they paid for halfourancestry.com, which is a very popular genealogical database that we offer here. They've also helped support the trip to the Howe Caverns and the Kimball Fires for the first prizes. And as you know, I didn't go into it because you probably saw the other reports. The summer game on all levels was a spectacular success this year.
So, can I ask, the Ancestry.com subscription, or what do we call that? Is that any patron can come here and use it? to
Right.
search?
Ancestry is unfortunately not a remotely searchable database. You have to be in the library to use it.
Okay, but it
right,
still
anyone can
allows
come in.
anybody, any
Exactly.
patron to come and use
Right.
it.
And that's why we have an extra computer up in Ann's room now,
Wow,
so
that's
that they don't
great.
have to use one of the 5
Yeah,
terminals
Ann
out. They
can help.
come in, and Ann knows it inside out, so she's able to help. I think that's it. I did mention, I know there's a pothole out here. I called Mike Leslie's to mention it. They said they'll get someone out here. Yeah, you fine, no, it's. You know, there's always a million other things, but they sort of, they're minutia. I mean, they're just keeping the place running that you don't really need to hear
Yes.
about. They're trying to hit the high points. So, if there are any questions?
I just asked one question.
Sure.
The Mango that I saw,
Yes.
it's upstairs, look at the screen. Can you just explain that program and how it can be used?
Yeah, I've used it. Actually, that one is remotely accessible, so you don't have to be in the library to use it, which is nice because it talks and such. It's a I don't know, they must have, how many languages do you think, Jen? Just 40, 50, it's a lot, it's a long
yeah.
list.
More than 25 like languages. They have like Tagalog, which is like the language of the Philippines,
Yeah.
which like 6,000 people speak,
Right.
and like so they have really like interesting.
So it's an interactive software.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Have you made the school district? I mean, would we be willing to let this language? That's the one program in schools that's being decimated.
Really, okay,
Is the language? Is your languages? I mean, most districts are down to Spanish,
really,
getting rid of French, and I guess Goshen has a pretty strong language program. You know, I know that kids are choose between French and Spanish, but
Mhm.
I mean, it's just one more way of
yeah, definitely.
reaching out to.
Yeah, Mango's nice, I think the Cadillac product out there, or whatever the word would be
Is
now,
was
is,
that up?
yes, but,
Too expensive.
exactly, and you
What-
can't, they don't
Some-
let you have
They
license,
have
it's very,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
They have a hand on the market, monopoly.
Right.
That's why I asked about mango because I've never heard of it before.
But Mango's very popular with the people that have used it. I've heard only good things. I think it's probably one of our probably more highly used databases. That
Did we get stats on how many
Some of them.
patrons use?
some of them. I don't know if we can get them from Mango. I have a feeling it's in the best interest of half of these companies that you don't know. You know what I mean? Gale lets us know, and the often it's embarrassing how little it gets used. Some of the databases from newspapers and because think about it. I mean, even myself often you want to look something up. The first thing you're thinking is just jump on Google. It's just easy. It's like Amazon. The databases take a little bit more. I mean, you get much more out of them, but they demand a little more. You have to be able to understand how to search just a little bit. And I mean, here's an example. We have Consumer Reports free to anybody who has a Goshen card. But it's not Consumer Reports by itself standalone. It's within an aggregate database that does a whole bunch of different, maybe 400 magazines. But it's the full text of Consumer Reports. So I've been working with Casey, and Casey's much better with computers than I am, and he is worked with the company and with RCLS to finally kind of extricate that one part, Consumer Reports, and make it searchable so that someone can at least see that that is among these other 500 magazines. You can search this, and you've been able to pull it out and put it in the list, which we can't do for everything. It took a tremendous amount of time to do that. Where am I going with this? But the point is that there's all this information, and we are trying to kind of make a push again to get people to be aware of how much is just sitting there with their library card. That's expensive full text stuff that you cannot get on the internet. I mean, it's just very difficult to get through people's head. This isn't something you can just pull up. You could certainly pull up, a reference to it. Check Consumer Reports, but you don't have access to it unless you know that you have access to it. And these people just they don't know.
I know we have in our newsletter.
We want to start to
we've
push
had
more.
some of it.
Right. Occasionally we get
Um,
something in there, but we should do more of that.
What about a little plaque, a sign upstairs? Did you know that any patron can have access to Ancestry.com for genealogical searches or Mango for learning a language?
We did put Mango in the newsletter. We do pushes occasionally, and I will say that it's in their best interest that the database companies are always willing to send bookmarks and posts. It's just a matter of us finding the place for it often. Where it's tough to get it all out there. All we have our bulletin boards are usually filled already with stuff we're doing, and but that's a good idea. We should have probably more of their sort of propaganda out there so that people are aware of it. But
These show why we are relevant.
mhm.
The services we offer. That not many. I don't know if everybody looks at the newsletter or gets on the website and advertise them. It's a good thing for.
But it's definitely part of our recently revived PR program to get spotlights on some of that stuff, and to make people aware. I know I used to do it, and I know Casey does it with the reference librarians. I know Michelle does it down here. When you're one-on-one, I would have them sit down with me and show them. This is how I walk them through it. I have a sheet that we would print out and give it to them, and I just think, I don't want to say it's a losing battle, but it is a difficult uphill climb to keep people, aware that stuff's there, or maybe just to get over that inertia. That's like, it's not on Google, it's not really worth finding. And I'm like, no, it's stuff. We've even had teachers come, and I hope this is, I haven't been on the reference desk for a while, but 4 years ago, or students come to, well, my teacher won't let us use anything on the internet. I said, but these were magazines. These were actually in print. They've just been turned into digital. Well, no, we're not allowed to do anything. She said, anything from the computer, it's got. I'm like, So they just cut off, this huge world
Wow.
of information for
Wow.
themselves, cause
Yes.
they're not understanding,
Yeah, that's ignorance.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily jump to ignorance on that one, but I would jump to plagiarism, which is a big cut and
Right.
paste
Yeah.
deal.
right,
Which is very difficult to kids
Sure,
don't
sure.
understand. The difference between, I find it on Google, I cut and paste it, my project is done, type of thing.
Well, it's
However,
what
that's, I
teachers-
think, where the library steps in, because you have a library, library system in in Goshen here alone,
Right,
3
right.
through 5, there is nothing
right.
for the students. And then they pick back up in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and then it's, it's as good as it gets. But I mean, this could be the focus where we are, that teaching tool that shows the kids the difference between plagiarism and all these resources, because we kind of can't rely on the schools as much,
Well, we should.
because because it is, because there was more going on, and and we should just take that step forward. That's my personal opinion. I don't know what you believe.
Well, I think teachers should teach that, and if anything, it helps them to determine whether plagiarism has occurred. Because if they just write what's in a book, there's nothing searchable unless they go on the internet and that book has been digitized. But I think that's the responsibility of their schools too.
Absolutely, I don't disagree with you on that one.
And a lot of Middletown is moving to all digital, books, and all their resources are going to be digitized. They're getting iPads to the students. They got a race to the top grant to outfit their
Right.
students with iPads, and they're encouraging teachers and administrators not to do paper product. So. It just doesn't sound right that a teacher tells them you can't use this resource.
That may have declined some, as I say,
We
that
should
was-
get the names of these teachers, give them a call.
I mean, do we know it's definitely coming from the teacher though, or is that the student's
Could be the student
interpretation?
interpretation.
I was told not to use anything when the teacher is meaning not an internet search, not Wikipedia, not this, but they're
my
not.
sense
I
is
know,
that,
I think I think also maybe it's their poor use of words when they say you can't use a computer resource or a web resource. They
Right.
mean the actual internet web. They're not talking computerized database. I think sometimes that's not clear. Or the students turn that around in their heads. They hear computer, because to the kids, I sometimes think anything on the computer is it's all the same.
right,
They think it all comes. Even though it's in a database, I don't think they know the difference maybe
Right.
between a database and
Right, that's a good point.
database and something that's just coming from Wikipedia or an online magazine that's been published. They're not making that difference.
I had an idea that maybe if you wanted to bring more of these to light, like the consumers reports, so you basically have a search box, or you have something that'll take you directly to a search box for consumers.
I believe that's that's the most recent permutation of this
So maybe what
odyssey.
you can do, or David will know whether it's possible to actually do something like oceanpubliclibrary.org/quick1, quick2, have a number of quick links like this.
Mm-hmm.
You could even have a page of quick links as they amass, but then this way you go to quick 1 and it'll be Consumer Reports search box with just that on, almost like the Google webpage, but just with the Consumer Reports accessible to us or accessible to patrons. And then with that, you can actually put in the newsletter or even on a little ad box on the website that just rotates out Consumer Reports full text searching. Go to oceanpubliclibrary.org/quick1.
Do you have to be logged on to our
Well, there were
website to do it from home?
yes,
Right.
and I think that some of the problems were highly technical, because there was issues where they thought they had it set up to do that, and suddenly they realized that there was just global access to it now all of a sudden, so anyone could get through. You know what I mean? There were holes.
Yeah.
There were
Sure.
So they're working it through. I mean, I think that's a good idea, and I think that's what we're aiming for.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that we probably I'm proud to say that we have a reference librarian and David along with him that are pretty savvy with this stuff and are able to keep coming up with alternate things to try, and I think they're getting closer to what they want. But RCLS has some pretty good people working there, and they've yet to figure out a way to supply this in a more user friendly manner. So I think it's something that just it has to do with probably proprietary concerns and, you know, access. I mean, like I say, when for whatever, I don't understand the authentication process. I believe that had something to do with that suddenly the barcode was kind of meaningless and you can just type in anything and you'd be able to get on and such. So, but we're going for now. We're trying. There's a lot of forces that. I got my hands full with potholes. I gotta get you guys on.
Yeah. I noticed that from Eleanor's report, her numbers are growing, and that trip was a success. That's something that we should add to our business plan. That, you know, those trips.
Yeah, that's the first
Because
time
they're
we've
gonna-
ever done that here. That was,
Yeah.
and it's
And
not
it's-
uncommon
it
for
was
libraries
well
to do it, but
received.
Well, very well received.
Wow.
And you know, it wasn't in terms of it broke out that it was fairly efficient in terms of cost for how many people went. But I think that, you know, with some forethought, that kind of thing can almost be done as fundraiser, you know, or just break even. But this time it did cost us something because it was novel for us. I mean, we asked other libraries how they did it, and friends kicked in some money. But overall, I think it was maybe $400 for all those people to go up there, which is not a bad.
Not a bad deal. Yeah.
But as I say, with you know, that was just the trial run. I think you know, could probably even stand to make some money off stuff like that.
For Paul Mays, how is that going to work with the staff? Is he going to submit something to you early that they will review and get back to you
From
before
what I
the day
understand,
of?
yeah, I think he needs some preliminary information from me, and then I believe he sort of guides the discussion. You know, has some sets some parameters out that I then bring to the staff, and so that, you know, I mean, he's looking obviously to make the most out of the time that he's going to be here. So he doesn't want us just kind of shooting in the dark. He wants there to be some structure, what questions.
Yeah.
So that when he comes to you that night, he has, you know, he's gonna bring along some other photographs, files and such of recent jobs they've done, recent libraries, just to show what's, you know, what kind of things people are doing. It should be good. But I'll let you know more as I find out. Like I said, he had just gotten back from vacation when I caught him, and he just said, just get me this preliminary stuff so I can start to shape what I would like to discuss with you in October.
Alrighty.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Matt? Then let's move over to unfinished business.
I think Jen is gonna.
Oh,
I just have a really quick blurb, I promise.
your other,
I'm other,
or
always other.
other should be.
Always love. So as Matt talked about earlier, we're starting like not a new PR campaign, but we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're trying to streamline it as best as we can. So there's a lot of new things happening on Facebook and Twitter, and I just want to keep you guys in sync with what we're doing. So over the summer we had lots of programs, as you saw by Eleanor's report, Michelle's report. So what we tried to do is we tried to put up every single program we did. So it's logged on the internet. We have this was held at Scotchtown School at 2:00 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it was toddle time, just so we have a record as well as informing the public. Well, our new theory is that a lot of programs that are coming up are not as regular. So, for example, in summer we had toddle time at 10 and 2 every Tuesday for 6 weeks. Well, now we have Melissa Cody does acting improv once a month. So it's not something that happens every week. Check back, don't forget, this is happening, that kind of thing. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put something on a week ahead coming up. Don't forget to register. Our fall reading registration is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So things, last week it was, hey, don't forget, it's coming up. It's a lottery system. So it doesn't matter if you're here first or last. It's all luck, all by numbers, because we don't have the room to host everybody that we get. So we do it by lottery system. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. But things like that are really big or really important. Don't forget, heads up, things like that. So that will be twice as much activity on Facebook, because it will be a week ahead of time, the day of, and then it will also be a registration is required for this event, but click the link and see if there's openings. Come by, ask us, call us, come in, see us. Trying to make it much more inclusive and much less exclusive, even though space normally does not permit for a lot of inclusive things because the capacity of this whole building is 74 people. 44? Well, I was shooting high.
all right.
You know, I was shooting high. So that's our new strategy. We're gonna see how that works.
And the numbers seem to show that's been working. You've got
Yes,
some-
I do. I wasn't going to bore you with graphs and charts and numbers and colors, but the program I use, Hootsuite, is really cool because it gives me a breakdown of how many likes, who was sharing, how many looks that were at our page. So, for example, if you've been checking our Facebook, I posted a really nice, big, obnoxious, sparkling number 1 to congratulate Michelle and the children's programming about winning their YA Program of the Year award for the second time in a row. Good job. It showed like 300 people saw that, and we had a lot of traffic that day. People were sharing it. People were talking about it. I actually ran into Tom Leek on the steps of the library, and I'm going to be writing the article that will go in the Indie as soon as I talk to Michelle, which will probably happen tomorrow, so it will be in next week's Indie if you can get me a picture of them.
Yeah.
Just a slight segue. Right back on topic. So that's the new strategy. We're going to see if we can, instead of just putting it up day of, we want to do a week ahead of time and try and entice people. Stephen does a drawing instruction. It's every other Saturday starting the 21st. So it's the 21st, the 5th of October, 5 and 14, 19th of October. And so it's, hey, it's today, you can't make it, that's great. It's also, so we're trying to make a more structured schedule so people know what's going on. They don't have to keep checking the calendar. It's right on their Facebooks. We're trying to hit them between 6 and 8 a.m. when they're getting their kids on the bus, because a lot of this is children's programming, and that's when people are checking their phone, and between 4 and 7 when they're putting their kids to bed, or when they're, getting out of work, checking, we're trying to do that. And we're also trying to, as Matt said earlier, you guys were talking about the databases, highlight things like that. So, for example, tomorrow I think it is, coming up on Facebook, sneak peek, I don't have anything scheduled. So we have a library calculator on our webpage, which I sort of stumbled upon because I didn't know we had. And I was like, how much does the library save me every year? So that's the Facebook post. How much does the library save you? Check out the calculator. These are things we have on our website that you should go look at. Fun fact, if you take out one hardcover book a month, it saves you $300 a year. One hardcover book a month. Just nifty little fact. I thought I'd share. That's not counting programs and all sorts of other things. But the other thing we're trying to do is get pictures of the things we've done. So Eleanor had the Downton Abbey tea on Sunday, which was hugely successful. People are ranting and raving, and there were some leftovers in the break room, which I ate, and they were fantastic. So we're trying to get pictures, and we're trying to make them into their own albums. So instead of it being, summer programs, this was Dinosaurs Rock, this was Downton Abbey tea, this was the book club, this was the How Caverns, and anyone can post those on our Facebook. So that's kind of cool. People can share, hey, I was there, I remember that was great. Here's the picture of, me and my mom, at How Caverns, So we're trying to do that as well. And I think that's everything I've covered. Does anyone have any questions, comments, queries, or concerns? Cool.
Busy.
Yes.
Good job.
Always. Like us on Facebook, check us out. The other thing we're trying to do, which was I'm going to give some credit to Casey, I think it was his brainchild. For every event, we want a picture. So when you go into the Events calendar, it says title, and then it's got all of these things, and we want a picture. So for example, Stephen's... Branding, right. So for example, Stephen's drawing class happens to be multicolored pencils. It's the same picture every time. So don't forget, next week, drawing class... Oh, there's the pencils. Oh, Toddle Times next week. It's got the pink balloon. Whatever it happens to be. So we're trying to get not only our Facebook to be more informative and more accurate, it's also going to be more fun to look at. There's going to be pictures and color, and we're going to try to make it really user-friendly. Almost everything has a link to the event. So registration for the drawing class, which is open to anyone, there is no registration, but let's say, there'll be a link. Check out the link. Click the link. Come to our website. Go to the Facebook. Check out Mango. Check out the Consumer Reports. Hey, it's winter. You need a generator? Consumer Reports just said you should buy X generator. Hey, you want to find out more? Come to the library. We could tell you more about it. So it's going to be more informative. It's going to be more fun, more structured. It's going to be great. So like us. Tell your friends to like us. Tweet at us. We have Twitter. We don't have a lot of followers, but that's okay. We're still tweeting on a very regular basis. But Twitter, you don't get the cool pictures. Twitter's just kind of, that's how Twitter is. And that's it. And so more endeavors as it continues.
Thank you.
How many
Okay.
Facebook friends we have?
356, I think. 300-ish, I'm going to say. Because the library closes at 8, so I can't get on the internet anymore.
What is it? What's the name of it? Is it
Goshen Public Library and Historical Society. .org. Well, that's the
Website.
website, and then there's a little link that says like us on Facebook. Another thing we were sort of tossing around, which would be hard to do, well, not hard, but it would have some issues, is you know those QR codes you scan and pops up? Well, we'd like to have those direct to the events calendar, but we'd have to make a new one every month, so it would go to the right month. So it's just trying to, you know, hey, check out this. We have Toddle Time. Here's a QR code. Scan it. It takes you somewhere, but they would have to be updated so often that may or may not be the most productive way to do it. We might have it just go to our homepage. You know, this will take you to gplhs.org. Check out events calendar. So that's something we're trying to think of as we move forward into the 21st century with leaps and bounds.
So we should encourage people to like the library.
Like
to
the
get
library,
Other people to
Check
become
in at the
friends.
library. We're not on Foursquare, but you can still check in at us on Facebook. We're working on Foursquare and Instagram and those
Oh, but
kinds of things.
Facebook getting up the number of friends.
Yeah.
How can people contribute to getting that number higher?
So yeah, you can share us. Here's the cool thing: the trustee meeting was on Facebook today, or like 4:00. So you could say, "Hey, I was at Goshen Public Library's trustee meeting today. It was really fun. You should come check it out. That's where all the cool kids hang." Whatever you'd like to say, just do the little at a cost of. That's shift 2 for those of you who aren't computer literate, and just type in Goshen Public Library after you've liked us, and then people can click right on that. It'll take us right to our page. Encourage them to like us, share what we're doing. If you have kids, friends, family, yeah, comment. We love comments. We like shares. We like likes. If you don't like us, keep it to yourself.
All right.
Anything
Thank
else?
you.
Oh, that's great.
Very nice
Cool.
job.
That's
Thank
it.
Thank
Good
you.
Just
job.
reminded me, didn't we do well with computers in-house this time around? Or,
Oh, you mean for
Yes.
August?
yeah,
Yes.
1,022.
which is
1,022 for monthly.
It's very good.
a high mark.
Users.
No, that's logins.
Yes,
Log
Very
in.
good.
that's right.
What do you mean? Is that different people?
It could be a combination.
Because they get, 2 hours
Yep.
a day?
Yep.
So most people sit for their 2 hours, but if they were to come back a couple times, they would be counted.
It's a lot.
2 hours?
No, I mean no. I'm
Oh, the
saying
number.
1,000.
Yeah,
If
the
you do
number
the
is-
number on that.
Yeah,
Considering we have 5 computers.
it's-
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
looking up there. I
Sorry.
see that. Yeah. AC contributes. Nice cool area to
Oh.
do some work.
And that's not counting laptops, that's just our,
Yeah.
so
Really?
who
That's
knows
just
when you
the
put that in,
distance.
Huh.
What do you mean laptops?
they don't
Like
get counted
Wi-Fi
in that.
users don't get thrown into that.
Oh, I
mix.
see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If they're using Wi-Fi, you know.
Yep.
It's very good.
Or smartphone users.
Right.
There's a number, Norma. Should be added to it too.
What?
Our usage, our computer usage. It's
There you go.
huge.
That's actually a good point. Okay.
Oh, and by the way, before I forget, thanks to Nancy for that nice piece that we put into the newsletter.
Sure, no problem.
Yes.
Well, I believe. I need to
Oh.
leave.
On that
Is there
note,
something
No
we
problem.
said?
Yes.
I'm just waiting for my thank you.
I'm not because I wrote that piece. I got the early reading now.
Who
I'm
wrote the
sorry.
piece? Who in the Goshen magazine there? The one that comes out, the periodical one. That
Yeah.
Oh,
the one in the
quarterly.
library.
That was,
Is that a generic piece?
what's his name? Kid,
Yeah.
something Kid. the editor, there's only a couple
Jason?
people. It could be Jason, that
He's
might
the
be.
same, he does the Pine, but he does really
Yeah.
nice, but he had a, a spread on the library in there
Very
too.
nice. Well,
Mhm.
Yeah,
was-
yeah.
We should see if we can take advantage of that period, that.
Oh, yeah, I
'cause it
just-
comes out once in a while, I mean, it looked really nice.
I just got an email from one of his editors, and I shared it with the department heads, asking
When
for,
was this?
programming,
They have them,
pictures,
uh,
whatever, so
they
they want,
used
they
to, or
mean to
still
keep
have
us in there
upstairs.
every time.
We should
around.
really
Absolutely, we should try, 'cause,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
No.
they really didn't charge us anything,
No.
did they?
No.
Cause
I
they're
think
all
the
about,
newest one
who's
was
who.
Well, of summer, yeah.
But if
Which
you're,
magazine?
if you're a group, they do
The
charge
Goshen
quite a bit
Quarterly,
to
it's
get
a
an
glossy,
magazine.
it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
very good, it's only got a
I
I
couple.
might still have it upstairs.
Few
on the
issues,
front desk.
yeah.
Same guy does the
Where's
Pine
where
Bush,
is it
he made his way down here now.
Is it a free
Jen's gonna
thing?
go get some.
Okay, Jen,
Is it a free?
I think, is it free?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great, you haven't seen it yet, it's nice.
Go to Kelly
Jen
Jean's.
just went to get some.
Okay, they have it at Kelly Jean's.
Well, they're out now, I think.
Bring us
but
back some, Nancy.
Tuesday stacks,
I like Netflix.
I was there last week.
Oh.
Okay.
I am sneaking out. Sorry.
Good night.
Take care.
Good night,
Bye.
Nancy.
Bye.
See you next time.
She's
Yeah.
gonna make sure that we vote on that
Yes.
application.
Losing everybody.
We're gonna lose a quorum.
Well, I probably should have just had the business plan, strategic plan taken off. I don't know of any further discussion, except, tonight we talked about, I don't think we have Ancestry.com, Mango, or Consumer Reports listed in some of the services we have in that, so I could at least add those. And
Mm-hmm.
I think they're real selling points of
And the trip.
Well,
Matt's not here,
that's-
but can we get a list of all these services we have? I like to know.
I have to look on their site, our website.
And also
Yeah.
anything we have,
Probably
we have the
log in there.
ability to log into, cause I think that's a huge, I was up there and I was reading that, thing that they put on the counter, and it's, those are very expensive,
You bet,
resources
yeah.
that we spend quite a bit of money on,
Right.
and we should be tracking usage. Are we spending,
Well, yeah, there's that too.
are we spending our money wisely,
But
or is
hopefully
there other
find there's a
resources
lot
out
of
there?
usage.
I think many of them are a package deal. The Ancestry.com is not, but I think we said like 400 or something, like magazines and databases. I think it's, you buy the bundle.
Right, yeah, that's,
But it would be interesting to see the numbers.
I was gonna ask them, so I know when I was doing my grad work, I used this librarian introduced me to the MEL, that's Michigan Electronic Library, and you just put in a license, and it gave you access to everything, gave you access to Eric and everything. I was just wondering if New York State had anything like that. This was Michigan, and they had the entire, you had access to everything. But does New York State have something similar, where it's not necessarily our library card, but it's our license, and if that's the case, would that save the library money?
Oh, thank you.
Instead of buying a whole separate program, could
Thank
we
you.
piggyback off of New York State?
Thank
So I guess Matt would be the only one who would know that.
I have. Thank you.
Elsa Soros in here.
Fancy.
You never know if you'll find yourself in here, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
You'll sit there, I was eating, that's me.
They are over, if anyone's curious, they're over near the newspapers, the Wall Street Journal, and not the ones that are laying down, the ones that are sort of standing up. They're on the left-hand side of that, along with Orange County Travel Guide, which I just found and picked up for myself. I'm not sure if we're in here or not, but there's a whole.
John kid.
John.
Jason kid's a point guard for the Nets used to be.
The name just
Now he
rolled
now
right
he
off
owns
my
the
tongue.
Nets.
That's right, yeah, that's it.
I have a sporty husband, so.
Okay,
Did you, you wanna ask now that everybody involved in the website is here?
Oh yeah, I was gonna just make, I would make I don't know, if a request that we get a list of all of the resources that all patrons have, that we, paid services we have,
Okay,
just to have an idea. Like I saw that Mango, I'd be interested, to also, usage, if you can get into
I
the
can get you some.
if you can get into the administrative side and see the usage.
You're not gonna be happy when you see it.
Well, maybe that would help drive a decision to
Right,
say
right.
whether or not this is something
Yeah.
we wanna invest in.
I will say
Or
that
advertising.
it's, well, that's the thing, right, it's which way you wanna go. There are many, Jerry Nichols, back to Library Guru. He was a library system director for a long time, but he kind of semi-mocks us sometimes about getting rid of all those overpriced databases you guys have that no one's using. So, the people in the library world are aware of this problem, that we have these resources,
Right.
sitting on this gold, but nobody wants to turn the key to get in, and you know, it's just, and what do? You know, do you make it one more push to get people? You can't force them to use it. I've thought about having it having like a splash screen that you can't get to the Google until you see that we have all these things. But I think people would just be like, how do I exit out of this, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, but, so yeah, that's a good, you know, and only recently, I'd say maybe for the last 6 months, has Jerry Kuntz at RCLS, who organizes all the databases for the system. I mean, some of them come to the state for free. Some of them RCLS has kind of an arrangement that we all pay together, and therefore the cost per member library is lower, and some we just get out of pocket, like the Mango, we do
Right.
ourselves. But probably the last 6 months he's been able to get the Gale databases statistics, which is probably 4 or 5 products. And you know, I'd be surprised if there's over 10 hits for all 5 of them for a month.
Really?
Now, some of those are free. It's Novel New York or Novell. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. They come through the state library. Well, free. You know, I mean, we don't pay
Yeah,
that out
that's-
of pocket, but
Right.
taxes funded on a state level, and we get the benefit by having. And I think a few of those are probably Gale products. But yeah, I can get you a list of, and I'll get you a breakdown of who's paying for what too. You know, 'cause
That'd be good.
we should be able to do that.
So I think there should also be space we take up in a newsletter too. I mean, just, it's a form of communication to the people.
Yes.
Some people might not know it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It should be
sure.
I
good to
agree.
do.
One more question. I haven't gotten on in a while, but can you change your library password from the internet?
You should
site?
be able to log in to your account and change your password. I haven't
What if you
tried
don't
it.
know? Well, no. What if you don't know what it is?
The original.
Yes.
It should be the last 4 digits of the phone.
By default, unless he's changed it, right?
Unless you've changed.
Yeah.
Does someone know?
Well,
how
some
to
sites,
answer?
you know, you set up a question and answer,
Oh, I don't know.
and
We ain't that fancy.
Okay.
But we know people that can answer that question for you. We're open from 9 to 8 tomorrow. Reference is
Okay.
extension 10.
Yeah, you can speak to one of the circulation people, and they can look and see what you have listed. As long as they know it's you.
No
have
problem.
sure. Okay.
I should trying to get information for our viewers. Yeah.
I forget we're being viewed.
Well, does anybody have any unfinished business other than my little blurb on the business plan? Then
Well, we need to vote on the education and the course he's gonna take. We need to fund that.
Do we have form?
Under new
We need
business?
to do that under new business?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, there was nothing under other for old business? Nothing.
Nothing. Well, let's, okay, it doesn't matter the order. Do we need to discuss Matt going to this class? Can we just, somebody make a motion
I'll
to
second.
allow for Matt to attend
Yeah.
the September 18th legal issues
Mhm.
class?
And how much is that? What's the, you know what the fee is?
It's
Yeah.
it's $1,550.
I'll say,
It-
so the motion would be to pay $1,550. And you made the
Which is
motion?
budgeted
Don't know, you
You
gotta
made
make the
the
motion.
motion.
I'll
Yes.
second it.
for this class, for this one class.
How long's the class? Just one semester? Do you get semester credits?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's graduate level. You know, it's through
Okay.
LIU.
Oh, it is, okay, so you probably
It's
do.
probably just a full semester.
Okay, so who would like to make the motion? Norma
Norma?
made the motion,
I'll
who
second
seconded?
it. I'll second it.
Ryan seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed?
Well, thank you very much.
Pretty good.
What did you get
That
last
was
semester?
one
Did you
class?
get your,
Well, it's for one semester,
One semester.
fall semester.
could we have your last transcript too, please?
Sure, I can. I got an A.
Did you get an A?
Second grade.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Of course.
Now, is it you, Carol, that's going over the new packet trustee handbook distribution?
I have
Alright.
them here, if you would like to take them home and do it yourself, it could be a DIY
Okay,
event, or you
Okay.
can bring in the book, and we'll be glad to look it over and see if there's anything else that you might be missing, or something else that, you know, might be needed to update, and we'll remove the old stuff and put in the new. Could be painless, guys, just drop off your book.
all right.
We'll
take-
drop it.
I'll
It'll take
I'll
about
drop it.
30
Good.
seconds to do it.
Thank you.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay?
I just
And-
did it and it didn't hurt.
Okay.
Did you get a
So,
lollipop?
Hardly even noticed.
Didn't even give him a Band-Aid or anything. It's tough.
But we do have them if anyone would like to take them, but highly recommend we'll do it for you.
Thank you, Carol.
Is it just a page replacement type deal?
No, it's an actual, removing the whole,
Section.
old policy, replacing it in a new color, so that you will, and it says on the front page that it's, done in goldenrod, because if there's any copies out there that are still in purple, you will instantly know that that's a wrong.
But it's something one could figure out
Yes.
and do on their own. I can do my own.
Okay.
Oh, you're the best. Thanks.
You're brave, go for it.
Well, I'll bring it if I have trouble.
And there's also a new handbook that, comes along with it from the state. They've issued
Written by
a
Jay
handbook
Nichols.
for trustees.
Professor.
Great.
Newly revised. You may have an old one in your book, but this is the new edition, improved, I understand.
Excellent.
Okay.
The 2010 edition is the new one.
Yes.
Yes.
It's only
Alright.
3
It
years.
says as new as it gets.
It's like buying a car. It immediately depreciates.
This is like the beginning
I
of
just
a
have a
wonderful
couple
fall.
of things. There is the
Oh.
legislative breakfast and annual business meeting that's coming up that I know you're probably going, you're
Mhm.
going. I
Youth
have
services.
I can't attend, but I don't know if it even matters. I think pretty much anybody on the board could go. I have invite if you wanted to go. So,
I should do it on a Saturday.
Is there an RSVP date on that?
there
I
is,
think it was, isn't it pass already?
no, it's not passed yet.
No?
It's September 13th.
The
It's
date?
the RSVP,
Mhm.
so,
And the luncheon, or what is it, breakfast? Is
breakfast.
It's on a, what day is that?
Friday?
Is that when
Yeah, Friday
the,
morning.
the kids program is gonna be recognized during that?
Yes, yep.
Would
They'll
you
be there.
like attendance? I mean, what's your,
The more the merrier, if you can do it, yeah, sure. I mean, it's,
Supporting the
yeah?
Bernie's gone a couple of years
You could
already.
probably do it online as well.
I have one on the board, but I
There's-
just gotta see what time.
There's two parts. The first part is really the RCLS portion of it, and then some people leave at 11 or
Right.
thereabouts after the breakfast part, and they actually have the annual
Annual
meeting that
Okay.
they go through some procedures and vote on some stuff. And
Aren't there politicians there too?
Yes.
yes,
So-
yeah. Last year they were short a couple, but yeah,
They're never, that's an oxymoron.
there was
That opens the door to so many things, Bernie. They're short a couple.
No,
they were
there's
short, this vote would be better.
Usually there's quite a few, like 6 or 7 politicians, and
It's an election year, so
supposed to
they'll
be
all be
last
there.
year. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
busy.
right.
They will all be there this year.
So,
All right.
Alrighty.
One other thing I wanted to bring up is I received this package from RCLS about their budget. They put forth their budget, and part of that process includes each of the boards approving this. And there's a fee that goes along with it that actually has decreased this year.
Right.
And if Matt could speak on what's behind all this.
This is that membership fee they instituted a couple of years back because of the shortfall from the state. It was for Goshen, they have a number of variables that determine the amount. But for Goshen, it's been $3,000 for the last couple of years. And it's to help offset the costs of the vans and the various physical sort of things that RCLS does. It doesn't have anything to do with Answer, which is a separate fee which has to do with the shared catalog. I think now this is the second or third year that they've done it, but the state has put back some of the money, so it's dropped about $500 for this upcoming year. It's 25. What is it?
It's 23, 14, 32.
Well, there you go. Even better than I thought. So we need to do, every member library receives this ballot, and at a board meeting has to approve it. Is it the fee? What are we approving?
We're approving their budget,
budget,
but
which-
by acceptance, we agree to the fee.
Right.
I think
I mean, this is the
what it
material
breaks
part
down
for
to.
our library, is that this is,
yeah, basically the board casts one vote in as a board, and then then those votes are tallied, and basically the fees could fail if enough boards
Mhm.
one votes collectively fail it,
Right, then
but
they would cut back their services.
right.
they would have to redetermine how to bring it up, but But yeah, I think traditionally we pass it, or traditionally it passes, I should say. Even libraries that vote against it, vote no on their one ballot, if it passes and the majority passes, then they're still liable for the fee, regardless of how they voted.
So do we vote on that tonight?
We can.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
Is there a date on that?
Well, it's due by November
Oh, November.
27th.
Oh, so
but
it's-
I don't know what further discussion we need
We
to
have a
on it.
quorum.
Okay, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't know the process, I suppose I just read it and, we take account or whatever, so, but it says the Board of Trustees of the Goshen Public Library and Historical Society on this day 9th of September 2013, approve a resolution to accept the Ramapo Library System 2014 budget as presented. Do I have a motion to?
Yeah, I think it's not that we're over a barrel, but I think we more than get our money's worth. We get our money's worth several times over with the shared services, and I think
You know,
it's worthwhile. I make a motion to vote
second
yes.
one, I mean, this is only for our records, we just accept and I sign and we pass it along to them. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then we're good to go. Might be this after.
My understanding was that was a vote to vote yay.
To
Yes.
vote yea or
Thank you.
to accept, however
To
you
accept,
wanna word
okay.
it. It says accept on
What
this.
about the hip parade? Can you move that?
And we've only got 5 people. That's still
Yes.
quorum.
I've
Okay.
said,
Maybe this was a question for Jack, I don't know, but there was something I saw in the paper about the state. They determine the amount you're gonna contribute for retirement and it's gonna go down.
Yes,
Did you see
it's
the-
going down next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But it's
not
still
the,
So that's-
this budget, it would be the budget that
But
follows.
we've already paid it, so
Right.
that's, they're not gonna,
So it's
reimburse us
16.035% or something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
going down, so that's good for
That's
us.
good news.
Do you know how much the percent is down?
I don't know how much it is down, but I know how much it is, cause it did all the calculations
Mhm.
for the grants and everything.
So
Yeah, it's
it'll help a
ta-
little bit.
tapering down because it was up for a
Yeah,
couple of years
stock
because
market went up.
the
Yeah.
funds dropped,
Okay.
so they had to cover those. So it's good that they anticipate, although last year they anticipated a particular amount and they actually increased it mid-year, so.
Right.
Don't worry,
so-
FICA will go up.
That's
Don't worry.
I saw in one of the publications for RCLS that one of our, a member of the Goshen community is now, has been on the RCLS board and ran again, Cheryl,
Oh, I saw
anybody
that
see?
too.
No, I didn't, okay.
I think
So
maybe
congratulations.
Sunday word of congratulations or from us. I mean, we didn't
Yeah,
nominate her, she was
no.
nominated through Thrall Library, according to the write-up.
Okay.
I can't
well,
remember her
that
last
actually
name.
gets
How does-
voted on at the meeting, I believe. So she might be a candidate.
That's
She's
right, yeah.
She is also a
She's a
candidate,
candidate.
yeah,
okay.
so,
But-
but
but-
she's a Goshenite,
Hmm.
she lives in Goshen.
Well, that's good because they had 2 Orange County seats open.
Okay,
So I don't know if they have somebody for the second seat or not,
Melvin went?
but it's great.
Hmm?
Melvin Westenberg?
he's not
He's not on anymore?
No.
So good,
Cheryl-
wonderful.
Cheryl,
Congratulations.
can't remember the last name. Her
Did I
husband's
say-
a doctor,
If she
Weitzman,
maybe
Cheryl
met with
Weitzman.
us once a year and asked us what we like, what we don't like, what we need. She represents sort of, she's
Mhm.
an at-large type candidate, is that the way it is? Or this represents the whole county,
She's a board member.
Yeah,
but
She-
does she sort of represent the county? I mean, how's it work?
Yeah. Well, it's ours. Yes, there's two from, or there are 2 open in Orange, but yeah, there's
Okay.
specifically some from Orange, some from Rockland.
Mhm.
she gave a very, very nice comment about when she comes to our library, how, the staff is always wonderful and professional and very helpful, and
That's
so
great.
I thought that
Nice.
was a good
Yeah,
thing,
very
so.
nice.
Where did
pass
you see
along.
this article?
Yeah.
It's in one of the trustees, the yellow, the ones that come folded, they're yellow,
Oh, okay.
The
Oh,
last-
yeah.
so maybe,
RCLS?
RCL,
Yeah,
yeah.
or-
Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up.
so maybe at the breakfast, you guys can extend on
Sure.
behalf of us
Absolutely, yeah.
our congratulations, and maybe invite her to a meeting.
Yeah.
Mm,
Hopefully we can sit with her.
good deal. Any other new business anybody needs to bring to the table? And let's see, privilege of the floor.
I have a question. To get a library card, you need 2 forms of ID?
Yes. One with your picture.
Library?
I recently made this easier, believe it or not. One so that we know who you are, your face, and then one that has your present address.
Driver's license has both.
Well, you never know with the driver. Like, I still have my Goshen address. I'm in Beacon a year. I hate to admit it, but you know what I mean. We're never sure whether the driver's license is actually current. So the way you do it is just to get a current bill from someone, for instance.
utility
that has
bill.
But if I show my driver's license and
Right.
it does not have a Goshen address on it, then you can say, well, we need something that has Goshen address on it.
We don't know if you moved
Mm.
from in Goshen within. You know,
Cause licenses can be years old.
you may have.
But you're still, if I move from number 2 Scotchtown to number 4 Scotchtown, I'm still part of the library.
Right, but we're concerned with your making sure your face is with a certain address so that we can reach you.
Because
So
some,
okay.
because the only change, if people don't make the change to their alert, they send you a little piece of like sticker, the sticker to put on the back to write on, if you don't want to change your address. So you could still have
Okay.
Goshen and be
So
a
the
Middletown
address-
resident.
The address on the license might not be current, and the
Right.
photo might not be current either.
Correct.
Either
Or
one's
it might not
accurate.
even be your license.
I just actually made that rule easier. It used to be 3 things they would have to do. And I said, it's ridiculous. That's just not. No. So
Blood
Want to
type
tell them
two,
about
right?
that 90-year-old lady?
I don't know about that. Did we ever track her down?
There was a woman that came to one of the book sales, and I was talking to her, and she said she moved to Goshen in 1943.
Mm.
She was 18, she just finished high school, and she had been hired as a telephone operator in the Goshen office.
Hmm.
And that's when she got her library card. And she's had a card ever since,
It's amazing.
but about a year ago, when she came in, they said, well, that card you're having, I don't know how old the one she had at that time, you're gonna have to prove to us that you live in Goshen. She said, I've been going here since 1943. I'm sorry. They sent her away, and she had to go
This
get
is.
proof.
We're working on it.
Oh, God.
Let's make it easy for people
Well,
to
I
become
am,
patrons.
yes.
They
You
should-
know, you've heard my speeches. I mean, the thing is, this is where it gets. Try to make this compact. It gets tricky because you have our mission. I say number 1 is to serve our public. That's written. That's in our book. I mean, that makes perfect sense. The problem is part of that is protecting the public good. You know, the stuff that we have. We're custodians of.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's always this weird thing where you have certain elements of the library world leaning in the direction of protecting stuff. And I have to say, this isn't a museum. I'd rather this stuff get lost or stolen or anything than not go out. It's got to go out. We do our, we don't want to be foolhardy, but we
Yeah.
want this
We
stuff
don't wanna
to.
be abused.
We want this stuff to,
Mhm.
to
Circulate.
move. That's what it's here. It's been
Mhm.
paid for by these people already. It's really there. So we wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this
So-
90-year-old woman looks suspicious.
I have no idea. That's so. Anyway, we're working on pushing the thought pattern into the direction of service before over concern
Yeah.
with merchandise.
Yeah.
Because we're not the only kid on the block anymore. It's very easy for people to say, "Oh, you're gonna make it." I mean, I don't need to put up with this.
We don't need to go backwards.
Right. So
Need to
we're
go
working
forward.
on
Yeah.
kind of
Openness and welcome.
that's
But
the,
remember,
that's
that
the
prompted
mantra.
us to talk about maybe having anybody that's had a card for 50
Yes,
years.
to do a.
We could do some sort of an event.
I think it's a great
Or
idea.
some kind of give them a gold card or something.
Get pictures.
Do
It'd be
we,
fun.
do we have that historical information that, other than what
Well-
they have in their hand?
Yeah, I guess it'd have to be anecdotal or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people like Kent Wallace,
Yeah, of course. We know them.
almost get the 100-year award.
And I'm sure Ann Roche knows a lot of
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah, a
She's
lot
been
of
here
people.
for.
Bring it to the antique roadshow.
Yeah.
How much is this library card?
Okay.
Alrighty.
Is there any reason to go into executive session? I'm not aware of any.
No.
No,
Then
nothing.
with that being said, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:55? Norma, Jim second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the meeting is adjourned.